If we were to dissect the great betrayals of the wizarding world, we often focus on the obvious, Peter Pettigrew's craven treachery or Snape's agonizing double game. But the most insidious form of betrayal is the one driven not by love or hate, but by calculating self-preservation. Enter Lucius Malfoy. He is not a monster born of ideological fervor like Bellatrix Lestrange, nor a broken boy like Tom Riddle. He is the immaculate embodiment of privileged opportunism. We hate him because he represents the most dangerous kind of villain, the kind who uses power not for conviction, but for comfort, the kind who never chooses a side, but merely rents his loyalty to the currently strongest shadow. This video will argue that Lucius Malfoy was never a true Death Eater. He was simply a politician who outsourced his soul. But the question we must answer is this: was the fate of the Malfoy family decided by Voldemort's wrath or by Lucius's paralyzing, generational cowardice? His famous signature, the silver, snake-headed cane, is the perfect symbol of his character. It's an object of immense wealth and political posture, yet its primary function, as a conduit for his wand, is purely utilitarian. Lucius himself is all status and utility. His power is a shield, his pure blood doctrine a convenient excuse, and his arrogance a carefully crafted facade of courage. But underneath that platinum hair and those expensive robes is a man whose defining characteristic is not power, but fear. Fear of being poor, fear of being weak, and most of all, fear of being irrelevant.
To understand Lucius's actions, we must first understand the debt he inherited. The Malfoys' pure-blood ideology wasn't just a belief system, it was a business model. Their power was directly tied to the exclusion of others. They didn't just believe they were better. Their entire social, financial, and political empire was contingent on it. Lucius was not radicalized. He was simply continuing the family tradition. His entry into the Death Eaters was less a conversion and more a corporate merger. Voldemort offered the ultimate protection racket: serve me, and I will institutionalize your privilege. During Voldemort's first downfall, Lucius's political genius truly shone. While others were hunted, Lucius performed the ultimate survival trick: deniability through bribery. He claimed to have been placed under the Imperius Curse, a plausible lie backed by immense political maneuvering and enough gold to silence potential accusers. This moment crystallized his moral code. Preservation of wealth and status trumps all conviction. He didn't just survive, he thrived. He infiltrated the ministry, became an advisor to the minister, and used his position to sow dissent against Dumbledore. He was the ultimate insider threat. But his obsession with control led to a fatal miscalculation involving the one magical object he never should have touched. We'll examine the true political disaster he caused later. Lucius's fundamental flaw is his inability to recognize that some games cannot be won with money. He treated the first Wizarding War like a hostile takeover and the second war like a hostile eviction. He believed he could pay the price, survive the chaos, and return to his comfortable, gilded cage once the dust settled. He fundamentally underestimated the cost of Voldemort's absolute power.
The Lucius's primary battlefield was never the duel, it was the political maneuver. He wasn't a warrior, he was an architect of institutional oppression. Consider the following case studies in his manipulation. The Chamber of Secrets, Riddle's diary. This was a perfect Lucius Malfoy operation. He wasn't personally involved in the violence. He merely used a dangerous object to delegate the dirty work, exploiting Ginny Weasley and simultaneously discrediting Arthur Weasley, his political rival at the Ministry. When the plan failed, he instantly tried to destroy the evidence, showcasing his zero-risk tolerance. The school governors. He actively lobbied for Dumbledore's removal from Hogwarts, using his position as a school governor. He sought to control the narrative and influence the next generation's education, viewing Hogwarts as a piece of political property rather than a sanctuary. The minister's puppet. Cornelius Fudge, the minister for magic, was practically Lucius's pawn. Lucius's money bought influence, and his quiet threats bought compliance. This control allowed him to suppress the truth about Voldemort's return for a crucial year, effectively giving the Dark Lord a head start and proving how much more he valued social order than truth. Lucius believed his money and political debt were enough to buy him safety, but in the Department of Mysteries, he learned the difference between influence and true power. This event marked his irreversible shift from political operator to desperate slave. The return of Voldemort in the Goblet of Fire was a catastrophic shock to Lucius, not because he was horrified by the evil, but because his carefully constructed world of safety was instantly shattered. The transactional nature of his loyalty was exposed. Voldemort didn't want a political ally, he wanted a slave. Lucius was forced to trade his status and comfort for the promise of renewed power, only to find himself trapped in a hierarchy far crueler than the Ministry.
The Battle of the Department of Mysteries in Order of the Phoenix is the true turning point, the moment the facade crumbled. Lucius Malfoy, the proud elite, was reduced to a foot soldier leading a botched raid. His failure was complete. Loss of the prophecy. The central goal was failed, not by lack of effort, but by the incompetence of the team he led. Capture and imprisonment. For the first time, Lucius faced true, non-negotiable consequence. His money couldn't buy him out of Azkaban. His political allies vanished. The shame was absolute. This is where the psychological analysis deepens. Voldemort didn't just punish Lucius, he inflicted the ultimate Malfoy punishment, public humiliation and loss of status. Lucius was stripped of his freedom and his influence. When Voldemort broke him out, it wasn't a reprieve, it was an enslavement. The Dark Lord moved the Malfoy family from allies to servants. Malfoy Manor, the symbol of pure blood supremacy and generational wealth, was transformed into Voldemort's headquarters, a constant, humiliating reminder of Lucius's failure. Lucius was relegated to cleaning duties, dismissed in front of other Death Eaters, and lived in constant, paralyzing fear. The humiliation was brutal, but the true tragedy is what Lucius's fear forced his wife and son to do. We must look at how his own cowardice destroyed Draco's chance at a normal life. Hold that thought. It's the heart of this analysis. His final, ultimate subservience was forced upon him. The fact that Lucius lost the battle, lost the prophecy, and lost his freedom made him Voldemort's worst mistake. He was a liability, not an asset. Voldemort only kept him alive to punish him, to use his wealth, and to inflict terror upon his family as a warning to other self-serving Death Eaters. Lucius became a walking, breathing monument to failure.
The psychological turning point for Lucius occurs when his fear is transferred onto his son, Draco. Draco's dark mark. When Draco was tasked with killing Dumbledore, it was the ultimate moral debt Lucius had to pay. Lucius, the man who always hid behind political machinations, forced his teenage son into a position of certain death or moral damnation. This is the moment Lucius's failure transcends politics and becomes familial abuse. Narcissa's choice. Lucius was defined by his inability to choose loyalty over safety. Narcissa Malfoy, however, provided the necessary contrast. Faced with the threat to her son, she made an unconditional choice. She betrayed Voldemort for Draco's safety. When she lied to Voldemort about Harry being dead, it wasn't an act of heroism for the Order. It was an act of pure, maternal, selfish love for her son. This is the courage Lucius never possessed. Narcissa's lie saved Harry and ended the war. This was the ultimate betrayal of Voldemort, performed by a Malfoy. But what did Lucius do in the final moments of the Battle of Hogwarts? His final act defines his entire character. The final act of cowardice and survival. In the chaos of the Battle of Hogwarts, Lucius did not fight for the Dark Lord. He didn't fight for the Order. He didn't fight for a cause. He fought for his family. He and Narcissa were seen desperately searching for Draco, disregarding Voldemort's command. His final act was an act of raw human self-preservation and protection of his kin. He threw aside his wand and status, desperate only to escape the slaughter with his family intact. This wasn't heroism. It was the ultimate, necessary surrender of his ideology for the sake of survival.
Lucius Malfoy survived the war not through strength nor through conviction, but through flexible cowardice and the intervention of his wife's love. His survival is the most damning part of his character analysis. He was the only major Death Eater who managed to escape Azkaban permanently after the Second War, though he lost his political influence and wealth. The the price he paid was the end of his legacy as a pure-blood dominant figure. He was left with his life, his family, and his shame. The Malfoy legacy is not a tragedy of belief, but a cautionary tale of political opportunism. He is a dark mirror held up to the elite class. His story reminds us that the greatest danger is not the true believer, but the opportunist who serves tyranny for comfort. Arrogance is the camouflage for fear. Moral consequence is non-negotiable, and sometimes the debt is paid by those you love most. Lucius Malfoy will forever be remembered as the epitome of pure-blood arrogance. But the truth is, he was a political chameleon who was too timid to ever truly commit to his own evil. In the end, the ultimate villain was not the Dark Lord he served, but the paralyzing fear that defined his every action. What do you think? In the end, did Lucius Malfoy do the right thing by choosing his family over Voldemort? Or was that final choice merely another act of selfish survival? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.